what is a pandemic economy? And look, I'd say for many of us, it's probably the very first time that we're experiencing this. We've had similar sort of events in the past. You know, I'm not an economist, so I can tell you now that I won't be giving you any economic outlook at this point, because I guess your guess is as good as mine. But you know, it's quite straightforward in terms of seeing what the pundits are talking about, and you know, what's being expected. So everything from a quick recovery through to a slow recovery through to the greatest depression of all time. And look, won't really go into that side of the economic equation. But what does it mean in terms of for us and our customers, and typically, you know, that the restrictions of physical access to consumers for us in the business world, you know, the lockdowns and travel restrictions change the dynamics of how our businesses can operate, and how, I guess, you know, in terms of the many dialogues I've had with different corporates, government agencies, and businesses of all sizes, is how do we help them pivot and shift and then move into that into this new domain, or this new style of economic situation. And obviously there have been shifts in consumer behavior as well, where you know, they've moved into survival mode, and you know, the pecking order in terms of what they're buying and when they're buying it is completely changed. And I can promise you now that in that picture, that is not my stockpile of toilet paper in my garage. It's just a sign of the sort of behaviors that consumers have gone through in terms of ebbs and flows and troughs, which are very different to the normal way of things before the pandemic hit. Look, in terms of our interactions and what are the, you know, what have been the challenges in this pandemic economy for our clients, and you know, the biggest part of it was or has been and still is the ability to reach the market. Many clients, their sales channels and outlets effectively have been reduced. Their access, as you know, in some cases, has actually been nil because their channels have been completely closed. And in terms of you know, the target market as well, the consumers, you know, the disposable income and spend has changed. You know, the unemployment sort of queues have been increasing, and people are more, I guess, thriftier in terms of what they're looking to purchase and how they're going to purchase. And the other part is around resourcing, making sure that the business continues and the business can service those clients that are still there or that you can access. And technology has been a big factor in terms of you know, supporting the reaching of that target market. And if the technology hasn't been right, it's been quite a difficult time for quite a lot of corporates that we've been talking to. What we've seen a lot of our clients do is effectively go back to basics and look at, you know, what their key assets were and what they were best at. And we as a business, as a general manager of a business unit, we did the same thing. We looked at, you know, what is it that our key assets are, and what's most critical to our clients, and how do we make sure that continues, and that's around, you know, protecting what we have, and then also how do we try and grow within the new dynamics of what's happening. And you know, the elements of brand and reputation still stand true. You have a loyal set of customers as a merchant, and how do you, you know, the ones that are converted to you, how do you hold on to them and keep them? And obviously your staff have all the know-how and those networks and the understandings of your products and technologies, and making sure that they're protected throughout this period. And then obviously your technology and the partners, you know, whether they're suppliers that supply you with goods and services, or whether they're your technology partners that are helping you deliver your products and services, they're extremely critical as well. And how we've seen quite a lot of our clients, or, you know, future clients struggling with what they have. And basically, yeah, focusing on protecting the business. What we've sort of seen is it's always been around the customers, the staff and the community. Obviously revenue, you need to protect that as well so that you can stay in business. And then I guess the customer experience is quite important as well, given the different consumer behaviors that are out there. And the key elements around the protection of your business have been around your nil contact or social distancing has been extremely important. Keeping your revenue up is how do you reach the customers that are effectively impacting your revenue stream, and keeping your customer experiences frictionless. So for many bricks and mortar businesses or businesses that have been very heavily centric towards bricks and mortar revenue streams have had to really adopt to many different ways here. And basically, just wanted to share something with you in terms of our experience with our clients, and it's quite an interesting tale when we look at our numbers. And this is in terms of we're a payment service provider, with omni-channel solution sets, and we've been quite engaged with quite a lot of merchants. And what this graph is sort of showing you is in respect to our pre-COVID run rate in terms of new merchants or corporates joining our platform, and also existing clients upgrading. Because we have such a vast product set, there are many upgrade paths that we provide. And what we found is in March, and this is predominantly skewed towards the Australian market with some of the Singapore and other markets that we're in as well. But basically, we noticed in March that a lot of clients that had upgrades planned and things, sort of in the early onset of where it was really impacting the general economy, they actually stopped their spend. They stopped projects. So anything to do with IT change started being blocked. And at that point, we as a business, we're also starting to wonder, what's going to happen here? Everyone's contracting. It means there's not going to be any new business coming in. It'll be quite tight. But a lot of businesses went into a kind of a look and see, wait and see, and go back into, call it, basics. And that whole, as I was saying, going into the whole, what's critical to us, reassessment. And that was the dialogue that we had with a lot of clients. On the counter, we actually had an increase in early adopters or early movers in terms of the ones that were starting to get prepared for the worst. So a lot of it sort of started coming in that March period. And as the timeline went on, and as lockdowns really hit hard and got tighter, the realization of the impact to revenues in March really started sinking in. And in terms of our business, we just pivoted and shifted and started communicating in terms of how we can help our clients when it came to this new, economy. And we'll show you a little bit more in terms of what those, what that dialogue looked like and the results of that. And what we found is once we started having that dialogue and empowering our clients with that sort of information, the actual adoption rate started picking up, and the clients that were on our platform, the upgrade path was very quick and easy, and we had a massive influx of upgrade requests, which as you can see there, was over 150% to our normal run rate, while the new sales also increased quite rapidly. So it was actually quite counter to what we were starting to think in early March in terms of things slowing down. And in terms of that whole prevention, preparedness, response and recovery, in terms of protecting one's business, a lot of the clients that we have effectively have moved into response mode. And as you can see, it's still growing. We're hoping that it continues to grow, and we're hoping that we can help more clients with what we have been helping them with. And we're finding a lot of bricks and mortar businesses, certainly who haven't taken the plunge into the online domain, starting to really take the jump into the online domain now. And some are actually starting to realize the benefits of having moved into this space already, and are looking at call it a recovery path with the channels that they've opened up. Now, once you have protected the business, the next part is, well, how do you grow? How do you grow in the pandemic economy? And there are businesses that have obviously grown without having had to have done much in terms of change. If you're a hand sanitizer manufacturer, I think you're doing very well. Toilet paper as well. But for most businesses that aren't in those niche sort of spaces, I mean, how do you then recover, or not go past recovering and then go past what's happened? And a lot of it focuses around innovation and pivot and shifting your business models to a new economy, and also engaging your clients more and being closer with your clients, the ones that know you, that converted at least. So a few innovative ways are obviously more payment options, more ways to pay, offering subscriptions and installments, so shifting a model from a discretionary spend to a subscription-based model where you have an ongoing relationship with clients. And we've seen the subscription economy sort of grow over the last 5 to 6 years quite considerably. And again, if you haven't done so yet, it's certainly time to start looking at that and coming up with models there. And engaging and making upsells and cross sales extremely frictionless. So it's another element that we have been engaging with our customers on. And just wanted to sort of walk you through a little bit of the dialogue that we had with prospects and with clients during the COVID-19 so far, in terms of the pandemic. And the aim of the campaign that we ran and the communications that we have been having with our clients have been, in terms of making sure that you can retain customers and stay in business. As a first flip, and the second part is also to allow your customers to continue purchasing and doing it in a safe manner while the restrictions are there and while the virus is still around, and to help them also, if they are in financial hardship, to maybe assist with with a few features that might help with easing financial burdens, such as bill smoothing or installment payment plans. In terms of the focus of the campaign, it was very much around protecting, and it was very much around the physical and the financial, in terms of social distancing and financial assistance to clients. And the secondary part of it was also around generating demand in a social distancing compliant manner, but also in introducing more options to then assist you with assist the business in growing itself. Just a quick deep dive into what social distancing sort of solution sets that we'd assisted our clients in achieving, and that has been focused around zero contact payments, be it via SMS, email, or phone, to introduce those channels to our merchants. Instant online stores, which are part of our platform, to generate internet traffic very quickly. Digital forms also, which take away the requirement for paper forms and paper applications, and allow for more digital engagement. So a lot of quick deployment tools that we have on platform have really focused on the social distancing elements, and they've been quite successful there. And then continuing into supporting customers that are in financial hardship, so the ability to create financial installment plans by paying by smaller installments. In terms of how you do that as well, doing that digitally also is quite important. Now, in terms of growing, we've been able to, a lot of the integrations we have allowed our customers to email and SMS offers out to the clients to allow for frictionless single-click purchases. upcoming payment reminders to improve cash flow. So if you are already in a subscription economy, the worst thing that can happen is for a payment to decline because the client doesn't have enough funds in their account, or the card's changed and they've forgotten to let you know. So it's always proactively keeping ahead of the curve, messaging along those lines. And then also the messaging that happens after decline. So typically if there's a high decline rate, or clients have started to default on their recurring payments, the ability to run follow-ups, dynamically or sort of automatically, and then also have embedded within those follow-ups frictionless payment detail updates or payment mechanisms, have also been quite important to help keep cash flow up and also retain the clients that are on that service. Now, in terms of other more options, so I've talked about the subscription models, moving away from a discretionary spend to a subscription model, introducing that. We've seen a fair few of the buy now, pay later type models coming in, which are very short term. And what we mean by subscription models is more longer term recurring revenues, which in many cases can go on for a year or two or even longer. Then, of course, the renewals of those to be frictionless as well, and offering more payment options such as bank accounts and digital wallets on top of the card options. There's always another way to appeal to more consumers out there. I thought I'd share a couple of stories in terms of examples, in terms of how we've helped clients. So there was well, I shouldn't say was, they're still around, a major retail chain that was very much focused around bricks and mortar, very popular in Australia, that effectively had over 40 stores that had to close down during the peak of the pandemic, and that basically made their revenues drop to almost nil, overnight. As part of that, they were very quick. Remember that whole prepared and responding. They're very quick to respond. Building up a website to allow for pre-orders in terms of takeaway and delivery, and effectively, with our solution set, they were up within a week, servicing all of the different brands and outlets that they have, and they're able to recoup 40% of sales and maintain about 50% of their staff. So, not retained everything in terms of protect, but certainly within a week, that was quite a massive impact, going from complete shutdown to being able to service clients to that level, and obviously continue to grow from there as the awareness of this new way of buying to their client base as work. So this is the sort of impact, quick deployment and our instant product sets have helped major retailers or major food chains with. Also, a major retailer that was actually quite interesting, the story. They were actually under quite a lot of pressure from international online retailers coming in their category into their market, and they basically had a limited online presence, but a very strong bricks and mortar presence with over 200 stores nationwide. They had effectively already started building up their online capability set prior to COVID, but the timing happened to be impeccable, where they'd been able to promote the fact that they had that capability, and even with lockdown restrictions and foot traffic restrictions coming onto their stores, their online traffic sales in terms of our services increased by over 300% in the first sort of during this pandemic period, and it recovered quite a lot of the revenues that were lost in terms of foot traffic as well. So again, it's quite a every business is different, but it's quite a significant impact that our solution set's been able to have, and it's a clever thinking, in terms of responding to the situation and then building up technology set that allows you to recover for the next phase of this pandemic economy. And typically the way these rapid deployments have helped is that that for bricks and mortar is to assist them with the ability to go online, but also to allow for phone servicing as well. It's important to be omni-channel and support multiple channels because of the different demographics in market. Some objects or products that you may be selling are not easy to sell online or require a bit of a helping hand. Sometimes also from a marketing perspective, an outbound campaign via email and SMS can be successful, but also phone-based campaigns are still something that that can assist. And again, these are the sort of technologies that bricks and mortar clients are effectively adopting on our platform, and from our experience. We have a very strong government and utilities footprint on our platform, and it's been interesting to see how government agencies have had to respond as well. They too have the impact of not being able to service clients during lockdowns and restrictions, and basically as a government provider, they have obviously continuity in terms of government services quite critical. Particularly if there's things like licensing elements involved, such as driver's licenses and that kind of thing. And if those things expire, then you have more problems in the community. And basically, with the pandemic, the serviceability of the service centres had to effectively restrict services. A lot of that assisted service side of things was moved into the contact centres, and our solution set assisted by providing them with the ability to take secure pay by phone over the phone, and also making it seamless as possible. And it actually was so successful that it wasn't just the front, storefront staff and contact centres that were enabled with the payment capabilities, but also with the back office staff that had client interactions. So effectively, that same technology has been rolled out across, not just storefront staff and contact centers, but also for staff that are working from home, dealing with, and reducing the exposure to staff from having to travel on public transport into offices and things, and being able to do the operations from home in a secure manner. So that was one example. And the last example, I think I'll just touch on very quickly, is the impact on consumers in terms of layoffs and the loss of income. The rollout of digital hardship application forms, which can be done on our platform within a few minutes if you wanted to. And to allow for registration and then the running of those payments and installment plans thereafter, which has helped our clients in terms of reducing the potential for bad debt, getting in at least some of the I guess revenues, but also future booking them and spreading them out and thinning them out over a period of time, just giving them more flexibility as well. It also provides them with a great image of community empathy. So just in terms of conclusion, I guess, I hope I've shared with you a few concepts in these few minutes in terms of, how we've been able to help, clients of all sizes in terms of being able to protect their business in the current economic situation, along with helping them future-proof themselves for their own recovery, and also be able to grow into the future. I'm happy to take questions now.
Thank you, Abhish, for the wonderful session. Now, we still have some time left, so let's look at some of the questions that have come in. The first question is, which features of your COVID-19 business community campaign was the most popular with your customers?
Oh, look, it's They've been quite popular all around, but I think that the main the main sort of rapid deployment solution set that really helped customers move out of, call it, the shop front space and into the online space and telephony space was payment request. That allowed them to be able to speak to a customer, send a link out, a secure link out to those customers and make a payment securely and have that confirmed to them in real time. And then they could effectively allow for a takeaway or a delivery order to happen. Other solutions, in terms of our API sets for more longer term solution sets, but that's sort of the main one. And also digital forms has also been quite popular.
That's interesting. You also talked about merchants servicing one locality in your case studies. So how can a multinational business achieve the same protection and growth outcomes?
Look, we do have multinationals that are working with us, and they effectively look at replicating or using our product set as a central technology set that work with their systems, and then they use our call it integrations into other markets to process payments in the different jurisdictions. So we have clients that operate out of Australia, the Middle East, New Zealand, with call centers in the Philippines, for instance. That's quite a common sort of scenario, and yeah, it is quite easily malleable to that.
And one last question is, so typically technology implementations like the one you've spoken about can usually last between 9 to 18 months as an IT project. So how did your customers achieve such fast returns around the times, and how costly was it for them?
Okay, so typically rapid deployment is our speciality. Most payment gateway or payment solution providers in the market provide programming toolkits which require development and IT resources. With ours, as you can see in the diagram here, we have a lot of off-the-shelf solutions that basically are plug and play. You log in, you configure, and you're up and running. So that's how we contract deployments down to a day for a full channel implementation. So that's the potential of the off-the-shelf solution set that we have.